Stick Model Builders, welcome back. Here's what happened in our last video for the F-15E Strike Eagle 1/48 scale by Revell. You see we put all this good stuff on, and what we're about to do now is start painting this model. So I'm excited because this is a really good model. So here we go. First, start by adding some primer to this. I wanted to prime this model because I like to prime the models, so it gives it a really good base coat for the regular paint to adhere to. I used acrylics on this, I believe, so this is what it is. We're just doing a little gray color here. We're going to do the entire model in this color. We even did some of the bombs and a couple of the fuel tanks and everything else that goes along with it with this primer. So we're going to show you all of that. This is excellent to watch. So here we go. We just did the top of the plane. Now we're doing the bottom of the plane. So get it all good. This is the left side of it. Here's the underside of the left side. And we're going to do the right side as well. Get the wing right there. You can give it as many coats as you want, one or two. Make sure you get up inside of there. Here we got a fuel tank. Make sure you get that. Here we got a pylon, so you want to get a couple of those. There's two pylons on this plane, and then some missile rails and all that good stuff. And these are the rear engines right here. Those are going to go a gray color after the fact, so I'm going to make those look really good. Here you see me putting some primer on the missile. Those missiles, we paint those a little bit later on in the next episode, so make sure you watch so you can see all those. You got all those little things there that you saw me painting. So here we go. How often do you see me do this? Painting panel lines. Probably the last time I did this was when I built my Star Wars cruiser. So the Republic Blockade Runner, whatever it was called. I don't remember. Go back, watch that video. There's a link for it. Click it. That way you can see it. So here we are. Fast forwarding kind of through all these panel lines. I'm not going to show you everything because that would take forever and a day, but you know, I don't mind taking forever and a day because you can watch the whole video, blah 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 blah. So here we are painting the tail fins. Don't forget to get the other fin on the other side, and of course the stabilizers. You know, good stuff here. Just there were a lot of them, so you know, just take your time, make them look pretty. Got to get that in there, don't you? Model making madness. Here we are, painting the underside, getting the tail fins as well, and the stabilizers, getting the wings. You know, a lot of little detail in there, going around all these little things here. There were a bunch of parts that I did not put on yet because we know we're going to paint this whole model, then come back and put those parts on later because they all go different colors. So that was a challenge of this model. I decided to do this one a little bit differently. I tried to put as much on here as I possibly could to paint the gray scale, the gray color, and then I'll go back and do everything that's white after the fact because I felt that would be just the easiest method to do, and I actually liked it. I'm going to try on a couple other models, so we'll see how well it works. Getting this wing here, getting on the insides of those intakes, and down there all along the front of the fuselage and the cockpit area, the nose. Here, going to go a little bit darker on some of this, that way it looks a lot bit better. So here we go. We're doing a couple of colors here, starting with some Gunship Gray. We're going to put this on very light misty coat, and we're just going to go lighter and lighter and darker and darker. I shouldn't say lighter and lighter because that's not true. We're just going to do light coats of this, getting it darker and darker each time until those panel lines just about disappear. They're still there, but it gives it a little bit of an accent. So that's the good thing about this model. So you see me covering a really good base coat on this. After we get this, we're going to get 2 more coats. I think I did a total of 3 coats on this, and we'll see all those coats, and you can see how those panel lines will slowly fade out and how everything just slowly starts to pop. One mistake I did do here, you'll see this in a later video, so you'll be sure to keep watching. I'm telling you about the mistake is I painted over the area where the rear engines go because they're supposed to go a certain kind of, I guess, steel, you know, metallic color. So really the metallizer that I use is not supposed to be, it's supposed to be painted onto a bare model. So I shouldn't have ever painted that, but I did here. Lesson learned. Watch this video, learn not to do it, and you'll see how I do that. So here we are getting the rear underside of this plane all of it, front, back, top, bottom, left, right, up, down, above, below, left, right, blah, blah, blah. Here we are, getting a fuel tank. Make the fuel tanks look pretty because they're important too. So we're getting that fuel tank right there. Get all of it. There are 2 fuel tanks on this model, 1 on each side, I believe. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. I don't remember. But this was a fun model, so it really doesn't matter how you do it as long as you make it look good. So might have been just 1 fuel tank right in the middle. My memory's really bad on this thing. We'll know when we finish this video and the next series. We'll definitely know for sure, won't we? I'm sure, of course. So here we go. We got little pods that we're painting, the pylons for the sidewinders, and there you go. This is the canopy. Painting that a little bit gray too, and we will touch that up in the next video also, so you'll see that. Getting the missile rails for the sidewinders, and here's the other missile rail. Make sure you get it good. 1 more coat here so you can see that, and you'll see these panel lines slowly starting to fade out, and that is how I wanted it. I may have put on a little too much, but this model really pops. I like how I did it, and I think it turned out really, really well. So here we go, getting all this. Slow process, I know. We thank you for watching, because I know you love to watch my videos and you like to see me how I do everything. That way you can learn from my mistakes and you can learn not to make any mistakes. So here we go, getting that left wing right there. Back and forth, you know, same thing, kind of like a different day. Is what it is. So go across the whole entire plane, and now you'll see those panel lines really starting to fade out. Just a hint of them is left, and that's exactly what I wanted. And we're going to do the same thing over here. You may want to let it dry in between coats, you know, and then just let the model sit for a while before you touch anything. That way it has a lot of time to dry. And that is basically the ultimate goal. Here we are. You see it's really starting to take form now, and the gray is really starting to come out. And now we are going to do the canopy, my favorite thing, and you'll see why. Well, I've avoided this piece for quite a while, and you know, the closer I get to it and the closer you can see on this camera, there's a reason why. Line right down the middle. Probably one of the few flaws in this model. Did I mention the panel lines are not raised? That's a plus. This is a negative. Panel lines that aren't raised, they're a plus. This is a negative. Guess we have to sand this down to make it look good, don't we? So let's get to it. So we're going to start on this. We're going to use a lower grit that is a lower number, meaning it's really coarse, in case you forgot. We're going to get that line that's right down the middle of this glass right off. Remember, there are some lines also going in the center of this that you want to avoid. That way you don't get those off. So here we go. You can see I'm taking this grit here, and we're just taking the sand stick, and we're going up and down this thing like you see here, making sure you get it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to switch my grits. I hope you caught that reference there, because if you didn't, that might mean you're young, and if you did, you know you're pretty old. So switch your grits and go to a higher grit. Remember, the higher the number, the finer it is, which is what we want. So I'm doing that here. I've got a pink pad for the ones that I use, which is a finer grit, and then after we get done with this grit, we're going to switch my grits again, and we're going to go to another grit, which is even a more fine grit, which you see me doing now. And then after we do this grit, we are going to go one more time along this with that gray side that you see there. We're going to flip this stick over, and we'll get with the gray side, and you see me doing that right now. So here we go, making sure that looks pretty. Get these lines out really good, as you can see here. Flipping that over. I thought I did before, but I didn't. So see how that glass is almost turning clear? That's how we want this to look, almost clear. Once we get it almost clear, we are going to get ourselves some fine scratch remover, and we're going to get a little bit of that scratch remover, and we are going to put it on a Q-tip. You can use a cloth because that's what the instructions tell you to do, and then you will just slowly put it on these scratches and it will take out some of this. So here we go. We are taking this fine scratch remover just a little bit. Make sure you mix it up really well. Put that on there. You see I'm using a Q-tip. You want to let it dry and then you want to buff it out. So that concludes this part of this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. You see, as I'm doing this, you see that canopy is becoming more and more clear. Here we're putting on some fine scratch remover. We're putting on some polish, a clear polish. That way it makes it look really, really good when we're done. So this is the end of this video here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, because I love when you subscribe. I love subscribers. Comment and like. Stay tuned for part 5. I know it's getting a little long with this series, but hey, is what it is. Part 5's coming up. I'm going to show you a little bit of a preview of what we've got coming. Here you see this is the plane after it's been painted. We're going to put a nice clear coat on it. You see the engine's getting that color. Here's a wheel. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.